top 10, 8 in the top 25, and LSU, 6th ranked in the country, will put its 15-0 record on the line against a new-look Arkansas Razorback team. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us alongside former Iowa State standout Ann O'Neill. I'm Brenda Van Lingen. Well, 4 teams ranked in the top 10 and then ever to win a conference title this year, but LSU, undefeated, wants to be in that mix, but it's opening night in conference play. It's a brand new season.
Well, the SEC is stacked, and you got to be able to bring it every single night, especially on the road. And for LSU, that means setting the fast pace and taking care of the ball. For Arkansas, they're coming off of a big win, but this is a brand new team since last season. Rebounding will be key for the Razorbacks.
And rebounding is a strength for LSU, and they have 4 national championships as a head coach, 3 at Baylor, 1 at LSU in 2023. And she has her team off to an undefeated start, coming in here off a victory over Albany last week as we are ready for SEC play. Calling the Hogs here in Bud Walton Arena as we take a look. Flau'jae Johnson with the steal, splits a couple of defenders, too strong on that layup attempt, but he'll stay here on this end.
Well, you can feel the excitement of SEC play. Both teams having a turnover, getting into the flow of their offense, but that's what LSU wants to do, is pass through those passing lanes.
On the inbounds, over to Williams, who sinks a jumper. And alongside Ann O'Neill, and LSU out to a quick 4-0 lead. As we take a look at the Arkansas starters, 5 new starters this year for Arkansas as they graduated 1 starter and 4 transferred. So a lot of new faces for Arkansas. LSU gets a bank shot from Anissa Morrow. Did you call bank?
Hey, she's been starting to fill those up a little bit more this season. She wants to.
Bottom is the leading scorer in the SEC, leading Arkansas with 23.6 points per game on the year, as the officials are taking a timeout on the court because they have some things to take care of over at the scorer's table. LSU off to a 7-0 lead in Fayetteville. Championship, and LSU right there in the mix with everybody, but it's a new season starting conference play.
That's right. SEC is stacked, so you got to be ready to bring it every single night, especially on the road. And for LSU, that's all about setting the pace and taking care of the basketball. Arkansas, on the other hand, they're coming off of a big win, but this is a brand new team since last season. Rebounding will be key for the Razorbacks.
And that's something that Mike Neighbors is concerned about because this LSU team
back and finish, especially for Jersey, who's back here in her hometown, back where she used to play.
Jenna Lawrence picked up the foul for Arkansas. And a travel on Anissa Morrow. Kim Mulkey, the head coach for LSU, has won 4 national championships, 3 during her time at Baylor, 1 at LSU just a couple of years ago that everybody remembers so well. They made it to the Elite 8 season after a year off. Higginbottom way off the mark, and it will be LSU basketball.
We were able to talk to Wolfenbarger during shoot-around and has over 20 friends and family here. And you get to see she did really well at Arkansas, but jumped in that portal last November before playing a season. She focused on her academics. But she stands at 6'5", and one of the things she really wants to do, Brenda, is play both inside and out.
Season after a year off. Higginbottom way off the mark, and it will be LSU basketball.
We were able to talk to Wolfenbarger during shoot-around and has over 20 friends and family here. And you get to see she did really well at Arkansas, but jumped in that portal last November before playing a season. She focused on her academics. But she stands at 6'5", and one of the things she really wants to do, Brenda, is play both inside and out and hitting that big 3.
Phoenix Stotine, who just playing in her 4th game of the year, a freshman from the Netherlands. As that one comes up short for Morrow. Phoenix Stotine over on the right wing, number 1, really has taken some of the pressure off of Higginbottom by being able to have some point guard responsibilities at times. That times, Higginbottom able to take it all the way. Stotine trying to get a handle on it as the shot clock winds down. We're at 6. Carly Keats, nice shot from the junior.
That was a contested shot, but Keats being able to get that nice air on under the ball.
LSU led early by as many as 14. They were up 18-4. And Stotine being hounded out top by Day Wilson. That one gets away from Gallia. And I'm going to have to tell a little story on Gallia real quick as we see her running down the court. She was supposed to check in earlier, and she went to the scorer's table. She took off her warm-up top, and she didn't have her jersey on. She just had her undergarments on, her sport, and she had to. About a 13-second difference here between the game clock and shot clock. That's what Higginbottom does extremely well.
You saw the pick and roll. You see Higginbottom at 10 feet. That is textbook Arkansas basketball this season, and they run it over and over again, something LSU will have to make an adjustment on.
Cheyenne Day Wilson over to Gilbert in the corner. 3 seconds remaining in the quarter. Over to Day Wilson. And it was a slow start for the home team, Arkansas. They were down by as many as 14 points early, but got a little bit of a run going.
They got a little bit of a run going, and I think that started on the defensive end. When they come back out, they've been running this sagging 2-3 zone, but what they've been doing out of it was really crashing the boards defensively. That got them back into some transition buckets, some offensive sets. And what I see for LSU on the other end, they're doing what they do. Volleyball block, jump ball in the air. That's Maya Smith getting her hands all over it. Another defensive stop for LSU, and this is how they continue to build on their first quarter momentum, is the defensive end and getting those stops and turning it into offensive points.
Foul called on Carly Keats. She's the one assigned to Flau'jae Johnson, really face guarding her in that diamond and one.
Mm-hmm. That curl, and she's so quick and smart. Quick little release.
Poe now with a couple of three-pointers for LSU.
She's playing big in SEC play. She's one of their best defenders, usually more of a pass-first point guard for LSU, but when she's open, she can knock down that shot.
Higginbottom, not this time. And it's significant that Poa has hit a couple of three-pointers because she has not hit one all season long. She was 0 for 10 from distance. And Flau'jae Johnson comes right back and tips in her own miss.
Oh my gosh, back and forth. So many good plays in this game already. Oh, those were good. Both Higginbottom and Johnson, two of the top scorers in all of the SEC, and they're doing what they do.
Take a deep breath.
We're starting to sweat over here.
So it was a good thing when we walked in. It was pretty cool in Bud Walton Arena. Top of the key, Kiki Smith, a transfer. LSU up 39-22.
Absolutely can fill it up. And like you mentioned, she's doing it against top SEC talent to start this first half.
Yeah, she already has 14 points in this game. You see the numbers across the SEC. A couple of players from Vanderbilt on that list. Flau'jae Johnson in this game with 6 points already. But here are Izzy's numbers here. Line.
That's just a pure shooter right there. And she goes to the free throw line about 8 times per game. I'm surprised actually she doesn't have more so far in this first half, but she's been making some really killer shots.
Another turnover for LSU. They've got 8 turnovers now. Something I'm sure Kim Mulkey can't be too happy about.
And that was more of an unforced turnover. As a coach, those are the ones that you are looking at on game film. Like, you're throwing that into space. At the ESPYs in July. If y'all haven't seen that performance, it was amazing on YouTube. You can check it out. And then had a great video called Came Out a Beast, and she actually featured Coach Mulkey in there. And if you watch the very beginning of it, Coach Mulkey's in the huddle, and it literally feels like she's in a game when she's in the middle of this music video.
I love it. I love it. Over 2 million views on YouTube for that one. So the foul called on Phoenix Stowtine. So some foul trouble for Arkansas as they've got Lawrence with 2 fouls, Stowtine with 2, Ogenua and Keats all have 2 fouls for the Razorbacks. Gilbert, not defended, rises up.
And for LSU, that's not the shot time the refs have called it. This gives LSU another chance to close out the half.
Ponanen into the game. Number 16 for Arkansas. Shot clock is off.
This is going to be tough because Williams with the ball one-on-one. And LSU, they have so many different weapons and offensive threats. And what Coach Mulkey talks about is that she actually utilizes that non-conference to really evaluate and observe and see which rotations work well together. And so far, the entire team's working really well, Brenda.
And on the other side, Arkansas, it's all about Izzy Higginbottom. And what a terrific first half she has had, showing she can score against SEC defenses as well.
She's been so impressive. She's been so fun.
In double figures for LSU, she's got 10.
That was too smooth. A little crossover, then the behind, and step back. You know Johnson's been practicing that.
And a jump ball. This time it will stay on this end with Arkansas. Talked about Higginbottom. She's got 12 points. The nearest scorer to her is Phoenix Stowtine, who's got 5 points for the Razorbacks. So the rest.
I'd love to see that kind of competitive spirit, and it shows out here for LSU and Morrow.
Jenna Lawrence gets her first basket of the game. Poa, that's her 3rd three-pointer after making none all season long coming into this game. Poa now with 3 of 4 from beyond the arc against Arkansas.
And that's what it's called stepping up, because
during her time, and yeah, we had some good success there at Nebraska with Nafisa Brown leading the way.
Well, I like that. Looking good, by the way, in those photos. And if we didn't mention it, her dad, Ed, was a linebacker. Can you imagine? That's also where she gets her physicality and her competitive spirit.
And Higginbottom with that score. Yeah, I mean, both of her parents, well, taking her back to her hometown for that opportunity. Carly Keats missing. Morrow with another rebound, closing in on yet another double-double. She's got 8 rebounds. A foul on the shot, and Michaela Williams has an and-one opportunity. LSU strong in the 3rd quarter. The Tigers and the Morrows very happy.
But right now I'm looking at 9-10 solid already, even in their non-conference play.
Flage Johnson gets fouled. She will go to the free throw line. You saw the score with Tennessee getting 91 points on the night. Tennessee currently number 1 in the SEC in points per game, and with their style of play and how they're getting up and down the court, you would expect that. LSU is number 2 right now in the SEC in points per game. They're averaging 92. That has some SEC experience from Arkansas. Really one of the only players on their roster that has experience in SEC play. She's just 1 of 7, though, from the field for the Razorbacks.
Keats is going to be an X factor here, getting her more into the game, building up the offense around her and Izzy on that guard play.
Sanchez missing. And a nice hustle play by Carly Johnson State. And it's interesting because she helped Mississippi State last year beat LSU with her great defense. And now she has transferred over, averaging 3 points per game for the Tigers. SEC women's basketball is in the spotlight Sunday on the SEC network at 2 p.m. Eastern. South Carolina takes on Mississippi State in Starkville. 60s and very proud of it.
I don't think I could keep up with these LSU players out
I'm
here.
Sure, I could not.
On these fast breaks, they're so quick, but she manages to, and that's also a ton of travel on her schedule, going to so many different conferences and games. Great to see her here, and one of the people who's also moved women's basketball forward.
1 minute remaining in the third quarter. LSU has this well in hand, but an opportunity to see some of those players.
In and out move. She's got LSU cooking right now. Finishes with the left. She's leading the way.
You could just watch ESPN, but why not tap in? Tap into peak fandom. Tap into who's hot, who's who, and who's got the takes. Tap into...
For the Tigers.
It really looks like they have a lot of pieces to the puzzle, the same as that 2023 team. And even the players talk about it on their different podcasts, about that's their goal. Everyone that you see on the floor came to LSU to win a championship. That is their main goal. And in 2023, you just felt the movement, and there was the energy was electric. It really sent women's basketball into the next stratosphere. And Brenda, what they did also was open
Statue on the campus of LSU, and now she is an assistant coach. Can you imagine having the opportunity to play for Simone Augustus?
You know, and learn from her. She was a WNBA champion as well, and she's from Baton Rouge originally. So the LSU tradition, they've learned so much. I was able to listen and watch Flau'jae Johnson's podcast and have where she interviewed Simone Augustus on there. And she's like, couldn't believe.
Kiki Smith, it's been a tough night for Smith as she has been held scoreless, 0 for 4 for Arkansas. And this is a player that averages just under 12 points a game. Higginbottom out to Smith. See if she can get that basket, and finally gets her first basket of the game.
That was a good looking rhythm three, one of their first open.
And I hope the scoreboard gets checked ahead of time, because it might be smoking by the end of that game.
Yeah, Electric's going to be firing up with all the scoring talent that can happen between LSU and Tennessee.
Here from Toronto, Canada, that transferred from the University of Miami, throws that one away. And right away patted herself on the chest saying, yeah, I need to throw that a little higher in the air.
It's always when we talk about turnovers or something like that, it happens.
Carly Keats. Del Rosario with the block, gets a piece of that. Shepard pushing. Finds Jada Richard. And Stotine with the miss. Sanchez rebounding. Smith with another three-point attempt. Oklahoma, Alabama, and then Texas A&M renewing their conference rivalry. And wow, 10 SEC men's teams are ranked in the top 25 in the country.
You and I were talking about this before the game. focused on women's basketball. When we pulled up the men's basketball, geez, they are stacked too for the SEC. The lowest team's record in the SEC is 10-3. So that's going to be a gauntlet of men's basketball as well.
Is coming up next. For Ann O'Neill and our entire crew, I'm Brenda Van Lingen. So long from Fayetteville, Arkansas.